I presume for lads who are like, especially doing fitness stuff when they're in a regiment, it can be quite lonely at this if you don't have someone.
Oh, it was in London on an Alphalete trip with Christian, and I've also spoken to Max about this.
The
Kings
yeah, man,
starting
sure.
shit, literally. So they're the reason.
Yeah, he has to be doing
Yeah.
Sarah Candy at some point. Like
Yeah.
it's just such a, and like obviously that's blown up for him now.
It's like bigger than Alphalete now. I don't know what it is, but
Whoa. You now have employees, most likely.
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
working for you. Just a little bit more about your crypto experience, I guess.
Yeah, oh man, I need to do a video on like my crypto journey. This is funny, okay? Because again, I think I'm up, over 6 figures profit. Good.
All right, I'll do a little baby intro and then we'll crack it. All right, boom. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the Pear Pod. Two episodes in 2 weeks, so we're getting some consistency going. We have a very special guest today, joined by Rob Lipsett, Ireland's first social media star. Thank you for joining me, Rob.
I would not say Ireland's first social media star. I don't think I've ever come as a star. You're too kind.
I've got So basically, I had something I wanted to start the podcast with today. If you weren't on, and now it kind of works out, because you probably have some experience in this. It's about my neighbours, all right? The guys upstairs.
Okay.
So basically, is that running? Yeah. So basically, we were in bed last night, and my neighbours, the inevitable sound of like a couple upstairs.
Oh yeah.
So your man's, it sounds like WrestleMania up there. It's absolutely nuts.
Nice.
And my girlfriend goes, I'm going to go up and say something to them. And I was like, you can't go up there and say something to her. Like, you only get one chance to meet your neighbours for the first time. So I was like, you just need to sit down, like, sit through it, and like, we'll get it done. And then she was like,
just enjoy it.
And then so you're sitting there and you're like, yeah. Anyway, so we had to come in, put the Alexa onto like loud, like monsoon, shit, like rain sounds and all. And I'll say, yeah, well, and yes, we basically had to turn the Alexa on. It rested anyway. But I want to ask you, what would you do? You've had a lot of now. Have you ever experienced that before?
Yeah, I have. Actually, in Aloha Pueblo, the place up the road.
So it's a Spanish thing. Like.
It's a Spanish thing. I think they do it with the windows open as well.
Yep.
It's just a thing. And yeah, we just kind of had a laugh about it. Put in the AirPods and put on some Joe Rogan.
Yeah. The Joe Rogan experience.
Yeah. I was like, come on, Joe, help me distract from this Spanish couple.
It's I don't know what it is, but I was, it took me back
weird,
a little bit.
It's
a little weird.
It's a weird thing,
Also, like, what do you do if you open the door, or like you go up to open the door, like, and it's a 6-year-old woman, you go,
yeah.
And you're almost like, Jesus, fair play.
I would just let him go. Like, come
let
on.
him go at it.
Come on. How long are they going to last? 15 minutes? That's like a world record, right?
Guy's a killer. Guy's a fucking killer.
No way.
But yeah, so all right. So
that's your experience.
Give me some advice on that. That's good.
Yeah. So I'd be the same. I'd probably just leave him at it. Like, I don't want to kill the mood.
There you go, Mern.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
So obviously we're in sunny Marbella. My big first question.
Yeah.
You've lived in a lot of places.
Yeah.
You've lived in, so I'm off the top of my head, you can correct me. You've lived in, I'm talking about living in as in you've worked here.
Yeah.
I think vacation's kind of different.
Yeah.
So you've had Dublin, London, Marbella. Have you done the States?
Yeah. So, I went on the J1 thing, which is like, you have rent. You lived there for like 4 months. Yeah, I had worked in Abercrombie.
Yeah.
So you live there. So
over there.
definitely add that to the list.
Yeah.
And then, obviously well traveled as well.
Yeah.
But I have lived in those 4 places.
So basically my question was, out of those places now, what are some pros and cons to each place? And in terms of work environment, so in terms of Marbella, obviously a big advantage is obviously surroundings, beautiful place to live, but there's some cons to it as well. So maybe give me a couple of pros and cons from like Dublin versus Ireland versus Marbella.
Absolutely right. Okay. Pros of Dublin. It's home. It's got the crack. It's got the crack of the lads.
It does.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's got your family. Like, I think everyone from Ireland, it's like, me and Linda said the other day, we could never go out with a non-Irish person because you just don't understand the back and forth. You don't understand the banter. And so that's like irreplaceable.
I think that's so this is kind of thing, 100%.
Yeah.
That's for me, for Dublin, obviously the family aspect is so big, and when you're thinking about like where you want to set up shop, that's a huge one.
Yeah.
Cons. I've only seen this since being here and being in a few other places. The chance to grow it professionally, I'd say for you in particular, is probably tough there.
Yeah, there's a handful of fitness content creators.
Exactly,
A handful.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
there's actually less than 5.
Yeah,
there's honestly less than 5.
I could give you 5, and then obviously some have dropped. So like, the chances for you to kind of versus. Like even here, last summer was like a hub for it. Do you know what I mean?
Crazy! And
Get the lads over.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a huge con. Another huge con is the price of rent and even buying a home. So rent or buy, it's just. I think it's a housing crisis.
Yeah.
Like it literally is. Yeah. And when I say this to like my American friends, like Max Tuning was like, why are you moving to Marbella? I was like, you just don't get it. They don't understand anything outside of America.
Yeah, I guess that's the big thing. Obviously, we work with Max at Blue Mon and stuff, and everyone seems to be. I get the Texas. I think it's just I can't even
Texas
comprehend.
Is a country in its own.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not even comprehensible to me to be like that's a. For us, Ireland is Ireland. You know everyone. You will run into everyone. But Texas is like even changing cities is huge. You know what I mean?
It's like changing country. So they're the cons, really. They're two huge ones.
What about London? Obviously, a lot of people making that jump now.
Yeah, there's going to be mass emigration after just the shit show that Ireland was the last 2 years.
Anyone who's got an online job is like,
they're gone. But London, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I actually recommend everyone to do a year or two there. I don't know if it's long term for me. It's like living in New York. It's like the New York of Europe. Yeah. It's so fast paced. Everything's always open. It's the population of London is twice the size of the population of Ireland. Yeah, like that's just mind blowing.
It's certainly now. You even see like obviously we'll get into YouTube later on, but like the UK has a serious scene now YouTube wise. So, and even like then you go into fitness stuff. Like you could. I can 100% see why that was the move for you.
Yeah.
So you go from London, obviously set up there, you had a place there, industry and stuff is going well. And then why Marbella?
Because Dublin and London in January 1st.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold.
It is freezing. Yeah. They went into complete lockdown and gyms were closed. Yeah. And I was like, I need the gym
so it's Dubai or Marbella.
It's Dubai or Marbella. And I go, I don't want to, just go to Dubai again. Marbella, I've grew up, spent summers here.
Okay.
My family used
I like everyone in Dublin too.
Everyone, exactly.
At some point.
Yeah. And I was like, I honestly checked. I was like, are the gym's open? Yes. Yeah. And so I was like, right. Yeah, I was like, we're going there. And then, so we only planned to stay here for a month. Absolutely loved it. It started heating up even more. And we just haven't gone.
Louis and the lads came over and you're like, fuck lads, this is unreal. Like that was like, so we were basically in Ireland. Myrn worked in David Lloyd.
Yeah.
So we were very much had to stay in Dublin. That was the situation. I couldn't just bail on her like. So, but then like suddenly after the pandemic, she got a job coaching online. Yeah. And now suddenly we were able to like travel if we wanted to, and you just see like Rob and the lads in my bay. I'm like, man, like it looks absolutely sick. Yeah. And do you know what I mean? Like, so like, if you could get a place where you could work and stuff, like the plus sides to being here were like outstanding. So I can see why you've like was the plan to kind of stay here until maybe end of the summer and then bounce. And then you kind of just got. Get the bug a little bit,
and not even till summer. I was going to do like January, February, March, and I'm like, surely gyms in either London or Dublin will be back open again. But then we just loved it so much, and I don't think gyms in Dublin open until May or June or. It's ridiculous.
I was home for all that, so like that's why I think people were so fucking pissed because no one had any idea. Do you know what I mean? But now, like we talk a lot of fight stuff, and we'll get into that later. But if you see the stuff going on in New Zealand and like Australia right now. So like it's kind of the same thing, but I'm kind of blown away that it went on as long as it did. But for you, like you even see Glenn at home is struggling to get content going because the gym's just closed. Do you know what I mean? Like where are you supposed to go to make content? So it makes sense, man, especially when you content you're living. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And again, for your mind, when I'm not lifting weights, the runs and the bodyweight workouts, don't do it for me. Yeah. So it was a no-brainer. And
we'll go for a walk. Go to walks.
Walk and a coffee. But so that's why we're here now. Cons of Marbella. I really.
It's tough. It's tough. It's a little slower. Yeah. It's a little slower. But if you work for yourself and like you kind of set your own pace anyway, the place is your oyster. Do you know what I mean? A little bit. So it kind of leads on to longer term ideas. What in terms of retiring? Obviously, I've heard you say before that you kind of think, or you see Dublin as the place where you'll wrap up shop.
Yeah.
Is that kind of now starting to change a little bit with kind of what's going on, like housing wise and stuff?
Yeah. I'd probably look at buying a place out here before before I get a place in Dublin. And the way people usually do, like they buy their house in their hometown and then they get the holiday home. Nowadays it doesn't even matter where you are with online business, so I think I'm going to do that backwards. I'll probably get like a smaller place in Dublin in the future, and because I want to send my kids to school there and everything. Then again, they'd be multilingual if you had them here, so I don't know, man. I don't know,
because we had one of my biggest, like, when you're in school and you're picking, did you do Spanish in school?
No, but I had this conversation the other day.
I did French. I think the only reason we did it is because the French trip, you went to Disneyland in like your fourth year or whatever. But now I'm like, you really could. But no, but there's real life implications with Spanish would be useful.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, the level of French I have, I can only presume I would have had the same in Spanish, and it's grand. So I would have been able to get through and like speak to people here. But now it's just kind of like, hola, ¿cómo estás? And then they say something in Spanish back to you, and you go, fuck it, English.
That's when the nods come along.
Yeah. So that's definitely a big factor. But I guess, let me just see. It kind of leads on to another question. I want to talk a little bit about relationships, because I'm here obviously with my girlfriend and you're here with Linda. So how did you and Linda first meet?
So I was throwing an after party in Dublin, and we have loads of mutual friends, but funny enough, we never actually met each other. We always knew who each other were, and never crossed paths once. And we were even talking where like we've been at the same parties and with friends growing up, like 18s and stuff, and we just never even spoke to each other.
Dublin's weird like that, isn't it?
Dublin is tiny, but so she just walked into mine at about, it was like 3 a.m. or something.
Popping.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's like 10 people there, and I was like, whoa, there's so many people there.
It's all my friends.
Yeah, literally, there's like 8 lads and then me.
Whoa.
And then so that's it. We just started chatting. We're like so opposite in a way, like
balance each other out.
Yeah, we balance. Nice. Like she's ultra chilled. I'm like manic, and so everyone was like, "Oh God, this is like chalk and cheese putting these two together."
Yeah.
But we just got along super well and stayed in touch. And basically, so she was living in London at the time. That's also a reason why we didn't see each other. Then I had an event on in London, in Chelsea, Creator Agency event. And I remember, so the event was on like a Saturday. I met her on Thursday for drinks, and we got fucked up, and I was so hanging. I was like, you are gonna ruin the event. I pulled it together. I'm still a bit wrecked on the day, but I hit the hangover well. But we just kept in touch, and then she came back to Dublin for a while. Then I went to London, and we've been inseparable since.
The reason I ask is because when I made this move now, I can only imagine as you get older, you kind of your friend circle, your mates all start doing their own stuff. Yeah. And basically the question I had was, if you weren't with or if you didn't have Linda, like, is the life of like a single YouTuber, I presume for lads who are like, especially doing fitness stuff when they're in a regiment, it can be like quite lonely at this if you don't have someone. So like I guess you can speak a little to like the importance and like how lucky we both are, I guess, to have someone that can like work around our schedule, can work around like that. You know what I mean? And what that does for you.
Yes, it's super helpful. Like, let's say we're traveling around, I need someone to take a photo, a video, film an ad. Linda filmed our Blue Man thing, and I'm like,
that's Linda.
I'm like Linda. I'm like, Linda is worth every penny. That's it. So it's just hugely helpful, unless I'm literally living with a videographer. That's what it's like, which is like,
that's what Myrn gets.
Exactly.
She's like, oh, can we shoot something? And I get.
Exactly. So it's just hugely helpful. And again, with the fitness thing, again, I'm doing Sober October right now. I often do, take 1 or even 3 months where I don't go out, I don't drink, and I focus. Even when I was like building my YouTube channel at the beginning, building my fitness business, I didn't go out for 3 years. 2014, 15, 16, I would say I drank a handful of times during those years. Now I can afford to have a lot more fun because you gotta go do the work now or later. But so it's good to have someone during those times, or it can get lonely.
Like we're kind of in that mode now where I'm like, you do a fuckload of partying on like that 17 to 20 phase, like in Ireland, even 16 if depending who you are, how fucking cool you are. But that kind of like that 4 years, I definitely the last year of COVID, I was like, man, fucking drinking is shit. Yeah. Just because, I was never a huge drinker anyway, but like the after effects as you get older is very so much bad. Real. And you end up getting into Monday morning, like you're still in bits. Do you know what I mean? So the difference I found, especially in an environment like this where everyone's jacked as fuck and like getting after it, you're like, okay,
seriously,
what am I doing? Like getting like eating a load of pizza and like drinking a load of cans. It's just not right. So
you're not helping your brain either,
No,
you know.
man,
And like what you said with the lockdown thing, when I was in London and it was like peak 2020, I did like 3, if not 4 months again sober because there's no temptation to drink. I'm like, people
it's
like
the
getting,
occasion you're after more than that.
I know, exactly. I'm like, people getting locked in their living rooms. I'm like, for what? To talk to your sister? Or I didn't get it. You know, some people, they had wine on the weekend and were watching TV, but I was just like, I'd rather just not have a hangover and be bound to my house.
Yeah, I agree.
So that was an easy time to stay focused, I thought.
So I guess the easy kind of next question for that is I want to go into a little bit. Obviously, I work in influencer marketing, so I work for an influencer brand that came from an influencer. Obviously, you have Fuel Cakes, which you just recently launched. And I guess talk a little bit about how early this concept came to you and how long I was working on it. Because from working for Joe, who runs our company, there's a very much like that period of building at the start is what he told me was the most, by far, the toughest part.
Oh yeah.
So speak a little bit to how that all got started.
Yep. So my first ever viral video was how to make protein pancakes, and so since then, I think it's on like it's on millions of views now. I'm like sick. So and then in all my full day of eating videos, or my what I eat in a day, whatever videos. I always make protein pancakes. They're a staple in my diet. You know, when you're shredding down, it's something to look forward to every day. It became a thing on my channel. They're like, hey, where the protein pancakes? Or, Rob, that flip was, could have been better. So it was like, exactly. I was like, you're rating my breakfast. But so it became like, a running joke on my channel. And then so it was in London on an Alphalete trip with Christian, and I've also spoken to Max about this.
The Kings
starting shit, literally. So they're the reason. And so I was like, oh man, because I've always just done digital products or talks and events. I was like, oh man, Christian, I see you with 3D and Alphalete. I see Max with Sarah strips.
That guy's a machine, man.
No, he's the real deal. He's actually doesn't just put it on for social media.
Also, he's like 16, which everyone just forget. Everyone just presumes Christian's 45.
Exactly. But so he was like, well, Rob, what's the always thing on your channel? Like, I always drank White Monster, so I made 3D. Max ate Sour Patch Kids.
It's all very on brand, though. It's very important that,
So he was just like, Rob, what's a thing on your channel? And I was like, I don't know, pancakes. And he was like, do it. He was like, make pancake mix.
It's like the simple mindset to it a little bit is actually the genius to it as well.
Yeah, he was like
Max's one, like I could have guessed out of that when he was like got a special project. I was like, he has to be doing Sour Candy at some point. Like it's just such a. And like obviously that's blown up for him now.
It's like bigger than Alphalete now. I don't know if it is, but me and Chris joke about that. No, but it's huge.
It's so different as well. Like it's almost incomparable because his thing kind of just goes, okay, so you need more. Okay, well I'll get more, and then like target it like, we want to do it worldwide. It's not like where Christian has to do like with Alpha, you have to like structure all the clothes and stock is very important. Do you know what I mean? So you can't just a huge increase in orders like that. You'd be kind of screwed. But that business in particular and the one you're in now, that kind of prepackaged, like
fun
very shippable.
Product,
Exactly.
And another big one behind it, I was like, okay, I don't lose my Ghost sponsorship. I was like, okay, if I do the typical what every fitness YouTuber does, supplements or clothing.
Pre-workout.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, if I do that, Ghost sponsorship's gone, and I love Ghost. Like, I couldn't think of a better supplement than Ghost, so it would be disingenuous to me. Alphalete wearing it right now, I was like, again, I would lose that sponsorship. I was like, so what could I do that's perfect for my channel, that doesn't have any conflicts of interest, that my audience, I know they're already going to love. And so was that. And it was a hit. We turned over profit on day 3 of launching. Usually takes companies 3 years to do that.
A bloom on, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And then so, now we're just, doing some growing pains, like moving the company from the UK to Ireland because of Brexit. Literally, that was the worst thing ever with shipping and customs, and Oh God, I hate Brexiteers. Brexiteers, you're idiots. Anyway, I'll say that out loud. I don't care who I offend. That and so yeah, that's basically it. And then getting it into wholesalers as well. So they're the two current challenges, but it's already profitable business, going great in year one.
So I guess the big question is now, I can imagine for you, you're someone who, like, as I said before, you kind of set your own pace in terms of work and you work very hard. So you've now transitioned from someone who's in charge of their own fate and like you decide if a video gets made or not or whatever, like you decide what happens, or if you take a brand deal or whatever, you now have employees most likely, and you guys working for you. So what I guess, have you found any challenges in managing a team now, and I guess coming to the realization that not everyone's going to work as hard as you all the time and care as much as you do? Do you know what I mean?
You just actually hit the nail on your head. And I have to read Daily Stoic every day. Be hard on yourself, but tolerant with others.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm like, when you think about it, I'm like, they don't really care, like, if the video's a day late or or if the shipment isn't delivered to Body First on time. That was last week. And like, they don't really care.
Week you're fucking
and it's like,
fired.
why should you care? Fair enough. Obviously, why should you care as much as me? It's just unreasonable to think that the people that you hire are going to be as fired up as you.
Yep.
And so it's completely fair, and you got to understand that. But this is it. This is just life. So it's cool.
It's so interesting because when I was working, we both worked retail. You've done retail. I've done retail.
Yeah,
I was killing it at Fat Face in Dundrum. Long time. Yeah. No, you probably don't know it.
I do.
We didn't get a lot of customers.
Yeah. It was a bit of a Carhartt brand.
But man, I guess the kind of struggles I had in my head of being like, I have no, like, if I come in here and absolutely sell as much as I can for these guys and kill it, no benefit to me in doing that. If I do nothing and just slack it, I get paid the exact same. So that kind of motivational thing was kind of, I was battling with that a lot in my head. So now seeing it and like seeing the difference or how hard you work when you have a passion for something is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But so I guess it's just interesting because I talked to Joe a lot about how he went from, like, the reason he started being a YouTuber is because he didn't want to work with the people. He found that he like enjoyed working for himself.
Yeah, me too.
And then you kind of backflip your like fall into management. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to see how people deal with that.
Yeah, I actually didn't even think about that. Like, you end up just you're doing what you didn't want to do.
So like, I guess, what's the structure like for you now? So do you like, is it, I guess, do you have a team in the UK then that are in charge of Fuel Cakes and you guys are just like remotely staying with it?
Yeah, so that was exactly it. Even when I was in London, because it was in lockdown, so the offices were in London, it's shipped just from outside of London. And it's like, even during 2020 when we're in London, all the meetings would be on Zoom.
Yeah.
Like, even though we're half an hour away, just Zoomer. Mm-hmm. But even if, it would take me half an hour to get into the office is in Holborn, and it's like, even if it did that, it's like you just say the same thing over Zoom or WhatsApp or anything. So now it's fast forward the world. It doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah,
and so that was again a big motivation. I was like, I came out here and I was like, will things be impacted? Do I need to be in Dublin or do I need to be in London? Didn't make one fucking difference.
Oh man, yeah. Well, like, so I guess you think it's
I actually just saved a load of money on rent.
Like, yeah, the whole like the fact of being like, well, you need to be in Dublin so you need to be able to shake their hand. Do you know what I mean? And now I guess everyone's completely come around to the fact that, like, I don't live where you live, but like, it's a worldwide market now, so get used to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Literally, like, I got it. My TikTok reel editor is in India. And my, YouTube editor is in like
so
Slovenia,
Eastern
Europe, or he always gets pissed off when I make that mistake. It doesn't matter.
We get called English over here.
Exactly. We transfer everything. It's like, what? Even if
do you
you're in
have Pro?
Dublin, it's like, even if we're both in Dublin, what am I going to drive over to you and hand you the SD card? No, I'm still going to WeTransfer.
Exactly.
So it's crazy how everything now is,
especially because I've come over here. I have a load of deliverables to get out for Blue Mon and stuff all the time, and I was like, I was like, well, fuck, we're in Marbella now, and I was like, man, I still go down there, edit the video, and send it to them. It doesn't make a difference. So, for sure, that was an interesting one. I want to speak. Obviously, Fuel Cakes kind of leads us on to. There's been a kind of change, I think, in the influencer space in the last 2 years, where it's gone from brand deals were everything, and that was your main source of revenue, to let's start a company that's going to like live on past me. So you see, like you've talked about Sour Strips and Christian, and you've talked and Max obviously, and then you see like Emma Chamberlain. I don't know how big you are, but like Emma Chamberlain with coffee.
Yeah, Linda's obsessed with her. That's the only reason I know that scene.
So like,
she's like the biggest in the world or something.
Yeah, she's a very particular type of YouTuber, but she's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I think she's remarkable. But that's the theme now is, I'm not going to make your company money by doing a brand deal and taking a one-off payment. I'm going to build something that's going to live on past me. So in terms of revenue streams now, like is it for you, you're focused primarily on like, is YouTube making you a lot of money?
Yeah, so
like the platform itself, obviously you don't have to go into specifics.
Yeah, no, this is a great one. So rewind for a minute. I love a good brand deal.
Yeah. Of course.
Like,
of course.
And that's true to a certain extent. But it's like, for example, Boo Man, am I going to start my own hairline product along with running fitness apps and fuel cakes and promoting Ghosts and promoting Athlete and God knows my coaching, my one-on-one coaching and filming? Am I going to, on top of all that shit, am I going to start a hair product company? No. It's impossible. And not only that, I love a good hair product. I really do, but it's not like my number one passion. Another example, another brand deal I did was for Stereo, which is a podcast app. Again, sick app. Me and Joe
actually work something you use regularly. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it's sick. Am I going to start a podcast app? No. Right. So yes, do definitely start your own company. You know, it cut out the middleman in a lot of cases, but brand deals are still awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
You get paid more than I used to make in a month working 9 to 5 to promote a product to your audience that you love and use yourself. Yeah. So brand deals are still awesome. They're still a big part of my monthly income.
Yeah. But it must be more like in collaborate. I guess like now, like I wouldn't call Ghost a brand deal for you now, or like Athlete. So, but I guess what I meant for brand deals is like those one-off. Like remember those those energy drinks now, like the Bang Energy. Like you get 50 grand to just show it off. Like the huge guys do that. Yeah. But like I'd call like what you have like a Ghost or an Athlete.
Sponsorships,
they're sponsorships, they're brand. Exactly. Yeah. So but yeah, that's interesting. I just I love the fact that that's where the mindset is now. Do you know what I mean? To build something yourself versus constantly. If it's natural, it's organic, great. But don't be doing like a mystery box. Like promo, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's like definitely, there's still room for both. Yeah, it's like let's say in my life I use 100 different products on a daily between hair products, certain foods, certain supplements, vitamins, toothpaste. Literally endless. Okay, shoes. Even holidays, shoes, clothes. It's like, am I going to start a company for every one of them? I'm not Jeff Bezos or Bezos, whatever. Yeah. And it's like, so I still love a good brand deal, but if you have something that is at the core of your audience, like again, an energy drink that will do well, Sour Strips, Pancakes, something like that, then that's something worth looking at.
See, like, but also like the brands to you, obviously that you have a huge amount of value to them, but also like people give a bad rap to brand deals and stuff, but you need to, like your channel lives as long as it lives for, but YouTube, there's no guarantees in YouTube. Do you know what I mean? So like your channel start like for whatever reason starts to drop or die out. Like those brands aren't continuing to pay you. Do you know what I mean? So you need it. It would be a madness, in my opinion, to not be putting down roots now to be able to sustain yourself long term.
Definitely. And again, be on cross platforms, email. Instagram, which went down the other day.
That meme of everyone like twiddling their thumbs and stuff. Yeah. It's actually fact. And then WhatsApp went down. I was like, fucking.
I know. So again, WhatsApp again, YouTube, Twitter. Be on everything and don't put all your eggs in one basket, pretty much.
So, we're back, everyone. Money wise, I have one more kind of money question.
Yeah, I love money, and I love talking about money. I think it should be taught in schools, and I think it should be like, instead of being like, how are you? It'd be like, how's the cash looking this month, boss?
This is so interesting, and you're kind of leading me through all the conversation. But this is the thing: you put up something on Instagram yesterday, the day before, about Bitcoin, and about if you'd bought Bitcoin in 2013 for fucking £100 or whatever, what it'd be worth now. So one of the questions I have is about crypto. I'm hard in the crypto space now. It's what I'm doing in terms of like hard by means like with the amount of money I'm putting into it that it brings in. I think it's essentially like my form of long-term saving now.
Me too.
And then you just start to get like more into it and you start to follow like owners on Twitter and stuff. But I'd love to hear a little bit about how you got into it and kind of, I guess for the people like who are a bit younger than us now who are hearing about it, what can they kind of where's the information that is valuable to them versus like the less like you hear about all the scams and stuff now that are going on. So I guess just a little bit more about your crypto experience, I guess.
Yeah. Oh man, I need to do a video on like my crypto journey. This is funny, okay? Because again, I think I'm up, over 6 figures profit from this year. From doing nothing, from pressing buttons on Binance.
It'd be sitting in your Bank of Ireland. Do you know what I mean?
Man. So this is
Bank of Ireland.
Yeah. Literally, AIB useless. But anyways, right there goes the AIB sponsor. Whatever.
No, Rob, please.
And I'm like, so yeah. Again, I had a load of money just sitting there in my savings account and even in my current, and I was like, this is just doing nothing. And I met a fella. I was training with a friend, and his friend joined us. And this guy is, he's like in his late 40s. If he, he'll probably be annoyed if I get his name wrong. But he's a grown ass man, anyways. And he is. He starts telling me about it and telling me about how it's the next big thing. And he's like, no, seriously. And shows me his Binance account and there's 3 million euros just in it. And he was like, man, I don't like showing this, but I really want.
Sometimes you have to.
Someone showed me, he goes, I really want you to take it seriously. And he goes, clicks it and he goes, this is what it was a year ago. And it was like, you 1 million. It's just got 2 million out of nowhere.
You couldn't steal money fast.
2 million out of thin air. And so I was like, holy shit. Okay, I need to look at this. This is January started this year before I moved. Before I moved to Marbella, week before.
It was probably just starting. Obviously, Bitcoin was there, but like there was a big rise there just before it started to drop. So you probably jumped on.
No,
just
I did.
There.
I think I got in like 8K or something.
Okay.
And oh no, actually, sorry. He goes, buy some Bitcoin as well, but he goes, the real way to like make like mad amounts is through the altcoins, but it's more gambling. It's more risky. So I bought SXP. Okay. He goes, put $3,000 down on SXP. And he goes, and just I promise
nuts,
you.
Like.
And so that $3,000, I think it went up like 500-600%. So like that, then that went like 3 by 6. That went over 20 grand. And then I put that 20 grand into a Bitcoin dip. That's like gone 4 times. And so I just kind of moved it around. But I'll never forget SXP. I literally own no SXP now. I sold it all.
Pump and dump.
Pump and dump, which I don't really do now. But that SXP swipe, I will never forget. That was the first. And I just saw that cash blow up. And I was like, what? And then so I put it into Bitcoin, which is obviously like your stable coin pretty much. And now I've got 80% in Bitcoin. And then other things.
Move, man. Like a little Cardano or something. Like.
So then the next one is like Solana, Cardano, XRP. I like to live dangerously. BNB and what's another one? And Ethereum, obviously. Sorry, that's my second biggest. But I still like. I'm not as bullish on Ethereum as I am on Bitcoin. I just find there's not as much use for it. But then now with NFTs, there probably will be. So I still think Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two.
I've heard
ones.
so like I've always you always dream about getting in at the start of something like that. Like everyone's like, oh, if I go back to Apple, do you know what I mean? I get in on something.
Yeah.
I'll say this now. I feel like the people I've spoken to who like do crypto, lads who have channels and shit about this, are like, it is very much still the early stages of cryptocurrencies. If you get in now and you just start putting in, like, I have a recurring thing that comes
dollar
out.
cost average.
It's
Yeah,
not
that's
killer.
what I do
It's
as
not
well.
killer. Do you know what I mean? But like now, every time like I'm out, I'm like, man, that money went out, then it's gone in. It's starting to make me money again.
Do you want to do that on Revolut?
That's what Murren uses.
Yeah,
okay.
it's because Revolut's
I thought
great.
it couldn't be right, but it actually
So Binance is my main one. I actually also recommend Coinbase because it's very simple. Binance, the interface can kind of freak people out a little bit.
It's greens and reds.
And it's like the yellow and black.
It's almost on purpose. They do that to be like, oh yeah, normal people don't have to worry with this stuff. But
exactly. But I recommend people just starting with Revolut or Coinbase just to get your feet wet.
All of you have Revolut. Do you know what I mean? And you could be starting to, that money you have in vaults that just sits up there. You could be having that ticking into something.
Yeah. So that's a great one, and I have the recurring payment on the Revolut as well. But it's brilliant. It's so much fun. It's so interesting. You just realize
you're at the forefront of something that'll like be real. And I'd love to. I'm mentally like visualizing me being like, I got in I remember I got in at Ethereum when it was at like 2K. And then
Nice.
they go, and then like you see them being like, it's now up at like, people are saying Bitcoin will be up to 100K. Obviously
At the end
nothing
of the
is.
year.
Yeah. I know it's about to break 50.
NFA, no, not financial advice.
I don't
This is
know.
all
I
not
don't know
financial
this
advice.
shit. But that, I'm sure
We're just apes.
I'm putting my money in there because it might as well, or else I'm going to spend it.
Yeah,
So-
and also like I am Cool Hand Luke when it dipped massively there. When after 64K,
Yeah,
it dipped, and I'm just like, I'm fine. I'm like, that's grand.
Chilling.
I'm like, oh, lol.
But like it's not even that. It's like I've kind of it takes someone who knows this stuff to kind of calm you down. But they're like, if you look at anything, any market, every 4 years naturally there's rises and dips. But if you look at the overall trajectory and like just break it down
Huge.
year by year, it's always going up long term.
Always zoom
So,
out. And
yeah,
I got like
always
a little
zoom out. That's hilarious.
Always
Yeah.
zoom out. I got like a little crypto WhatsApps as well,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like a support
And we
group.
just chill.
It's
just
great.
chill.
But no, I love it. It's served me really well this year.
That's something for your
it's
kids. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man.
That's. I think it's the very first time, probably the last like 3 months, I started to feel more like in charge of my financial future with that stuff. So it's fucking.
You know,
sweet.
so the guy that I said I met in the gym and he told me about it at first.
Yeah.
He described it as generational wealth, and that really hit home with me.
got me horned. Like.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, that's a strong word.
But that's what everyone's shooting for, man. Everyone like one of my biggest goals is just to make sure that we're like financially solid, you know.
Yeah,
so
of course.
and being able to do that now, the accessibility to do it, you don't have to go to Wall Street and like go into stocks and stuff.
Exactly.
So, look into it, folks. If you don't mind, look into it.
Definitely.
I want to talk to you quickly. The reason we started talking originally in my bay is you wanted to talk about podcasts and setting up your own one. So I guess I want to ask a little bit, what's it makes sense in my head, like absolutely why on earth don't you? Especially with like, I used to watch your like whiteboard videos. So like this is essentially that now, do you know what I mean? It's a longer form that you can reach way more people, you know? So what's the motivation behind the pod?
So I actually think I'm at my best when I'm doing long form conversation.
Yeah.
And sometimes, so I've always, live on my own or, with Linda, who is not a YouTuber. And sometimes you wake up and you've got like, no one to bounce off. It's actually great. With a podcast, you don't have to think of video ideas.
Yeah.
You don't hit a creative block.
Yeah.
You don't have to hit a creative block because you're like,
yesterday.
exactly.
Yeah.
You just chat to whoever. Like you might have a sick guest on or some chat to. Whereas sometimes you wake up, and especially the last 2 years, the most uninspiring 2 years for content, where you're sitting in your living room vast majority of the time, where you can't travel to an event or an expo or to do a collab in Texas or anywhere. Like, I think noticeably, myself included, everyone on YouTube made less videos, the last couple of years. Unless you're like a sit-down channel.
I'm trying to think of a channel. I'll keep thinking about it as we go on, of one that actually thrived during COVID.
Yeah, especially fitness. Very, not bodybuilding, especially without gyms. Like some yoga channels, but they're not like, fitness.
Oh yeah, everyone was doing an at-home workout.
Yeah, oh man, if I do one more of them. Anyways, with the podcast, it just writes itself. There's no need to even think of, you write down a few questions or topics you want to glance over. And again, I think I'm better at long form conversation. All my videos are like minimum 15 minutes long, and my most viewed ones are like 20, 30 minutes long. And so and I enjoy doing them, and I'm always a guest on them. And I'm like, I've always planned to do one, and then 2020 travel, couldn't do it. One thing, if I start one, not into the Zoom thing. It just doesn't hit the same.
It's unfortunate. Who was I listening to the other? Do you know Andrew Schultz or any of those?
Schultzy's the funniest.
Funny
I think
fucker,
he's my favorite comedian. He's my favorite comedian currently. Anyways,
he's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
He did he basically was he was talking about the Zoom thing, and he was like, we turned down like some real. I think they turned down Mike Tyson as a Zoom guest. He was like, it just won't. It's just not the same. It's like a meeting. There's no ebb and flow. There's no bouncing. So I after I heard that, I was like, look, it's worth taking the time to do something a little better.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan even said, he was like, there was comedians doing stand up on like video Zoom during lockdown. Yeah. He was like, it was cringeworthy. He was like, there's no laugh. There's no audience. Yeah. He was like, do we add a laugh track? Yeah. Press the thing. And so
then they start doing the drive-in comedy shows, Pear and all.
They're sick. But if I was to start one cool thing, I'd do a world tour. I'd take out a big slab of cash to travel around. Linda would obviously be my little DJ. She's really good with cameras. You know, because she actually studied film, stage screen design and film in college.
We did the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she's actually sick at it, which, you know, dream woman. And so, you know, she'd be making the cameras running and everything.
Sure it's in
and
fucking focus.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so we could go to LA, you know, hit up a few YouTubers there, go to Texas. It's a portable thing. So that's why I'm so intrigued. And I'm looking around. I'm like, what setup is portable, but also really good quality. You know what I mean?
So, one thing, have you seen Steve-O's Wild Ride? That one, they turn an RV into a podcast studio.
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick.
I think that there's such a potential to like being like, oh, I can do a pod today. Like if you just pulled up to like Gary Vee's house and you're like, I'm outside. Can you do a podcast for me 15 minutes?
They would do it.
But exactly. So the portability of a podcast. So I brought all this from Ireland. So it all got into a suitcase at some point.
Yeah.
So it is very portable if you want to shop it around the place.
Definitely.
And there's better ways to do all of this. This is just the shit I could afford.
And you don't necessarily need. I know the lights are great, but
exactly.
I'm like, my eyes. But no. Obviously, it helps massively. But like, what I don't mind with a podcast is if I'm watching it and I can. The lighting's decent. I'm mainly just like, it's not like I'm watching a cinematic thing. I
zone it off, for sure.
Yeah, it's not like I'm watching a cinematic thing.
Do you do YouTube Premium?
Of course, for years. Best money I've ever spent. It's
I get so much hassle. It's so much better. And then I'm logged in, man. I'm logged into Mern's phone sometimes on like Chromecast. And I'll be turning something on, you hear, but then they got to do that. What the fuck? And I forget there's ads on them. And then there's two. I gotta get the fuck.
It's the worst.
Worth every cent. In my
seriously, and especially because I'm a YouTuber, I'm like, it would be blasphemous. Actually, Max has came up with this thing so much. That exact thing happened. He was like, wait. I was in his house. He's like, wait, you don't have YouTube Premium. He was like, dude, you're a fucking YouTuber.
Literally, you should get it.
And
after you reach a threshold.
I was like, I'm actually just going to buy it right now.
You should. I've found it's particularly if you want to listen to pods, long form or anything like that. But the other thing is good for you is you probably have to sometimes cut your videos short because obviously audience retention is like so important.
Yeah.
So I'd say some of your videos you'd actually love to go a little bit longer on topics, but you're like, fuck man, is anyone gonna give a shit about protein synthesis and how it breaks down? But on a podcast, you could just title it, all right guys, I'm doing a podcast tomorrow, and it's completely on the benefits of protein in the first 20 minutes after you train and all that kind of bullshit. But what I mean is you can it's made for longer form conversations. So I think it's such a good call for you. And also the best ones also are, or for me have anyway been, you kind of get a story or a topic in your head and you just kind of sit down and roll. And you'll find yourself, I'm sure you in particular, you'll find yourself just rattling on for an hour by yourself.
On your own? See, that's, I'm not sure if I would do that.
I think if you had a topic and you were like, we're going to talk about this, I think you'd be surprised how easy you just kind of like slip into something and just start talking. You'll just try it and see.
Yeah, I would be cool to even do like kind of like a radio show sort of thing, whereas like people send in 10 voice notes and you just hit those 10.
That's the big thing with
that would be like an hour and 20 minutes because I do, you know.
Oh, it flies by. Like we're 45.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And you could also, because you have an audience and like people, you could actually, you can much more get input from them and like question-wise and stuff, you can actually answer some people's questions. For me, I'm kind of winging it and just doing what I want and trying to build a community of people. And speaking of that, the audience that we've also subscribe. Thank you very much. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, the only thing I see consistently is people like Eric and all, or like those kind of lads would be like, just ask people to subscribe and they will. So I'm trying.
Yeah, no, you forget. Like even like the video is like you forget. You're like, oh god, I didn't.
Makes such a difference. And I'm at the stage now where I'm like I have like 70 subscribers, strongest audience on the internet.
Solid 70. Get them 70 people in a room. That's a party.
That's what I'm saying. That's always my whole class in school. But then you notice like the big kind of you notice like a big push of like I went from like 82 to 89 views in my last video. I was like, fuck man, okay.
Nice. That's a 10%. That's a 10% increase. Yes, exactly.
But the big thing I like chatting about fight stuff, MMA stuff, boxing stuff. I know I've seen you watching like Anthony Joshua last week. Yeah. So some quick fight talk, if that's okay.
Of course. Wait, can you just get on the aircon actually? I'm absolutely roasting. Yeah. I'm just a hot individual.
Fair fucks.
Here, let me
I run a hot, hold on.
Yeah. Awesome. Just like put it on like low power or silent mode.
Let it roll.
Absolutely, I always just get
this thing. You'll get a fucking bang in the face as well.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you'll get that whacking.
But So you were saying about MMA
Yeah.
and Fight World. So
You're
this is a
in.
sport
Okay,
I
nice.
follow.
Let's
We're
fucking
the
go.
same, man. We're hitting it off on crypto.
Let's go.
YouTube, and now the combat sports scene.
Yes, sir.
It's
I'm in.
it's the closest sport I follow. Used to be
Weird like
rugby,
that, isn't
and
it?
now
Yeah.
UFC's just. How often do Ireland play? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like
you know.
I was so into rugby. Rugby's a big one, but
Yeah.
you go to Leinster game with the boys. But there's
Yeah.
something about when you get into like a personality of someone you like, and then he fights fuckers in a cage, you're like
It's
crazy shit.
There's true drama. It's like a real story.
It's as close it gets to
It's
fucking
as
gladiator
close it
shit.
gets
yeah.
to gladiators,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah, yeah.
And the best quote, I think it was from Dana White, probably. He was like, when a fight breaks
fucking
out.
illegal.
Oh, I love Uncle Dana. He was like, when a fight breaks out on the playground, where everyone drops the basketball, they drop the base, they go run and watch the fight. It's the most interesting thing.
Semi off topic. He's the best promoter in the game. I think he's fucking amazing.
He's a billionaire and he deserves every penny of it.
Love it.
I
Give me
love
all
him.
that money.
I love him.
So if I was to give you three, I guess not even obviously fight wise, I want to like you're into big guys, but who are like three personalities you're particularly into like right now?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the obvious ones, but guys maybe they've taken you by surprise.
Yeah. So okay, I'll leave the obvious
Connor,
ones a little
Connor, I
bit.
love Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, do you
Fucking
know
you're
who
great.
I love? Right. First
Wait,
got
is it sugar? Is it sugar?
no.
Okay, go hit me.
No. Michael Chandler.
Yeah, the boy's a killer.
So
Boy's a
what
killer.
first got me into him was I saw a picture of him and I go, what? He looks like a men's physique competitor.
jacked as fuck. I'll put a
I
picture up.
was
He's jacked as
like,
fuck.
he looks like a men's physique competitor, and so that drew me in. I was like, I look at more dudes on Instagram than girls. Like Linda would look over at my phone and like looking at dudes.
Oh my
abs.
God, that guy's so fucking
Yeah,
amazing.
and she's like, oh great. She's like, well, this is a
God, that
pleasant
guy's
surprise. Yeah. Anyway, so
you're looking at the same guy. Like,
yeah, and then so Mike Chandler, he looks like a fucking boss, and then his debut.
Dan Hooker, yeah.
Oh, stop.
And if you listen to him a little more, his mentality and his that kind of shit, which is like it's all about, and his mentality going into that fight and stuff is very, very much inspiring. So yeah, good one.
Yeah, so he's actually probably one of my favorites, apart from the obvious. Next up, Gaethje, and I get that ties in perfectly because they're fight.
You like some violence.
Yeah,
Okay.
come on.
Yeah,
and again,
yeah.
he's stocky, he's big. So and they're fighting next month, isn't it?
next month. Yeah, that's
so
gonna be nuts.
I'll be staying up for that one.
I think it's in Dubai, so I don't think we have to stay up.
Oh,
I think it'll be
even
all right. It might actually
better.
be during the day here. It'd be so lit.
Oh,
that's
God.
class, man. Yeah.
That'll go. So them two, and then this is blasphemous. I love Khabib.
Oh, Khabib's a beast.
So,
no hate here
so
for Khabib at
obviously
all.
he's retired, but I love his mindset. I'll watch interviews with him.
Sure, I agree.
Even his broken English sounds so cool. It sounds way better.
I think his I think the whole like respectful side of it. Obviously, Connor brought in the whole like chaos to it.
Yeah.
But when you see someone who is that like I guess composed before and then such a monster and you
Stoic.
just uncage that, I think it's so much more impressive in my opinion.
I think he's actually genuinely a good person.
Yeah,
I actually do. So him, Pear is super cool. So I'm
Guys,
just listing off
fucking
all the guys.
crazy, man.
That's
Yeah.
that fucking
150.
killed
Have you
Connor.
noticed all the guys are 155? You said.
Yeah, that's the best.
division
That's
for
the
sure.
best to watch. The heavyweights are too
I
slow,
agree.
and the lightweights, the super lightweights, they just
what-
don't hit hard.
Yeah, what do you make of the what do you make of like Amanda Nunes and some of the like the bigger girls who beat the shit?
Oh,
out
they're
of each other?
sick as well. But
Amanda's a
Shevchenko,
killer. She's crazy. She's
that was,
nuts.
That was sick. But like, obviously, I'm more drawn to the guys' fights. Let's just not lie here.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's Dana down to a T.
But the girls' fights are they can be sick as well. And then who else do I really? There's someone else that deserves an honorable mention.
I'm on the sugar train right now.
Yeah.
I'm on that train so hard.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
because I think he's playing, I think he understands the game a little bit. Anyone who's not, Paddy Pimblett, you watch Paddy from Liverpool?
Sorry.
Paddy the Paddy.
Oh my God.
Can you see me now?
He liked my comment today because he talked about doing
Fuck off.
a
Did he really?
20k challenge.
Oh, no fucking
and I
way.
just go, I was like,
if only he
what
can eat
did
the
you
fuck.
say?
Yeah.
And the comment got like 200 likes because we have a lot of UK audience.
yeah.
So a lot of people, who are into fitness also watch MMA.
Yeah.
And loads of people comment on me like, Paddy, you got to link up with this
He
because
eats
he got it
apparently.
so fat
Yeah.
after his thing. I don't care if he says that.
No, I think
ballooned
he
up.
openly
He openly
admits.
says
Yeah.
that. He
so
obviously
true.
and quick one on that, like when I've done massive cuts for competition,
Yeah.
I've rebounded so bad, and it's something that It's like an eating disorder. Like it
yeah.
simply is.
Yeah.
And it's something
Especially
that
for
you
those
need.
lads, it's nuts.
It's nuts. And they don't really understand nutrition because they don't have to. Like they have a nutritionist who helps the weight cut. And, you know, they'll be like, oh God, I'm just going to fuck it now. You know, YOLO it because it doesn't matter. They don't even understand. But it's something that you got to learn about. You got to learn your cues.
True,
and I pretty much an eating disorder after I competed. And it's something you got to... a bit of maturity and education,
man,
and being self-aware. So the second time I competed, I didn't have a rebound at all because I was so conscious of how shit I felt. Like I say, Paddy feels like shit. Everyone commented and all that. I'm down. Bet she doesn't like it, you know. And so it's something that it takes a bit of maturity. Anyways, last person, obviously, probably my favorite is Conor McGregor. Obviously.
Sir.
Like
till the end.
Come on, like I know.
Get that leg going.
I know he fucks up. You know, he gets in fights.
He's that bloke, man.
I don't
He's
care.
that bloke. He's like Liam Gallagher.
Care.
He's one of those blokes. Yeah,
I don't care. Like when I see Irish, he's disgraced to Ireland. He's pretty messed up. I'm like, shut up.
We can't all be priests.
I'm like, shut up. I love it. You're good at what?
I'm trying to find a good example of someone. Like you look at but I'm just the things he's done in terms of putting Ireland on the map.
Yeah.
Hate him all you want. Guy changed MMA forever.
I love a Conor fight.
Holy shit, don't hate me.
Yeah, I love Conor fight. I hope he
everyone
fights
does.
again.
It's still getting the most. Like it's still the most
by
crushing
far.
pay-per-view numbers. So everyone who says, "Oh, it's not what MMA is about," you're still buying the pay-per-views.
Conor
so
haters are just like, they're just saying it to say it.
Yeah, because no one, especially it's an Irish. I don't know what the Irish
is
about.
It's an Irish begrudgery thing
yeah,
as well. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I love Conor McGregor. From favorite fighter. Let's be real. And again, I've met him. He's a legend.
I think I'm not talking shit. I think he tried to beat the shit out of my mate once on a night out. My mate gets a bit jarred and he's a bit handsy and you can't be grabbing fucking professional fighters.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's sick. What an honor.
Yeah, to take one like that old lad in the bar. It's just like, I ate that thing. Yeah.
He ate it up.
Yeah, in fairness to him, he went for his pint after.
Yeah.
Just kind of swallowed it and
he was
went,
like,
So granite chin's out there and coming.
Exactly, yeah. He's starting his career soon. But yeah, so they'd be like my favorite fighters off the top of my head.
And then quickly, I just want to jump over quickly to boxing. I saw you watch the Joshua fight here.
Yeah.
Disappointing, I'm sure. If you're a Joshua fan, I'm
a Joshua fan, but like
better boxer one. If we can say that.
I was watching a bunch of English lads, and they were all like, kind
of got schools. And then Fury Wilder on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
big one. Let's fucking go.
Oh, so sick. But I have to say, I'm 10 times more into MMA than I am boxing.
I'm the exact same, and I think that's attributed so much to UFC's ability to like tell a story and like build the profiles. I've never been so invested in so like when you watch like it's so funny. You watch like a UFC trailer at the end of it. I'm like, that's fucking. This is my dream.
So you as a videographer will know this. The edits.
Oh my god.
The edits on the UFC TikTok are
the media machine they have.
It's
the machine. It's straight up
probably a massive wing in the HQ dedicated to that.
It's
the best at videography and editing. Even their YouTube channel, UFC Embedded, it's actually probably the best company I've ever seen, and that's what got me into it.
It's like I think it's NFL standard, but it's so much more engaging because these guys are fucking fighting to kill each other. So it's just it's a win-win all around. I think that's why the UFC is the best in the game.
Their social media manager on Twitter, on
awards.
Instagram, it is just I follow it so closely. It's my favorite page to follow.
You look back at some of the fights and I'm like Justin and Michael Chandler used to be friends.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
they're fucking enemies. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill someone.
They build a story. There's so much thought that goes into that Instagram and everything. It's so good.
Reset it. I'm on my. So basically, I put up an Instagram yesterday on my visually impaired. Follow it if you can. And I kind of got 3 similar types of questions that I've put into a well-formed one, but they all kind of come back to the same stuff. I'm just going to reset the camera so we'll run it. All right, we're into the conclusion of this. My mic has completely fallen off the chair, but we're going to keep it going. Okay, my final 3 questions. The first one was, it kind of got different stuff, but what I've broken it down to is, what's a common misconception about you and the job that you do?
People think that I'm on holiday constantly just because I live in a hot country. Yeah. I'm like, if I take a picture of a pool, it doesn't mean I'm on holiday.
Not doing anything.
You're not doing anything. That's definitely a big one. And ever since moving to Marbella, like, So I said the first holiday that I took all year was 1st of August.
Oh, on holidays.
Yeah, oh, I know.
Prick.
I was like, all right then, yeah. Who's funding this then? Who's paying my rent?
It's on my mad.
Yeah,
I'm
who's
not ringing them.
who's paying the rent? You know
it's
what I mean?
It's such a hater way to look at it.
Yeah, that is the biggest misconception.
That's funny shit, man.
And another one is like, oh, you only post a highlight reel. I just posted them up to you that day. It's not my fault. My life's fucking sick.
It's not my fault. That's the Instagram algorithm is also it's what it's built to do.
Not even that.
Sorry.
Not even that. Not my fault that I do sick shit.
Yeah. But
not that my fault that I go to the beach like every day for a swim. I lift fucking weights in the gym and I hang out with cool people. Sorry.
And fucking work hard and build audiences and build
eat pancakes.
I anyone who is not like gone. Man, I want to do what Rob Lipsett's doing.
Yeah.
Or like you are 100. Even you probably won't say this about yourself, but you're 100% someone now, and they go, like me and Mervyn be like, oh man, look at like Rob's life. You know what I mean? He lives in Marbella. Like imagine we could go over and live in Marbella. That's exactly what everyone should be seeing how feasible it is to move over here, rather than fucking. No, I wouldn't get anything done out there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That.
Shut up.
That won't get anything done. That's it.
And
you're
sure
in the pub.
I'm sure you'd be in the bar. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
you're in the same pub every week.
That's
I'm
fucking
telling
hilarious.
you. I saw a good tweet the other day. It was something like Ireland is no country for young men.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you know, that we need to. The best thing you can do, or one of the best things that I was asked this question recently, and something I never regret spending money on. Okay,
hit me.
Sometimes when you go on a night out, you buy a lot of drinks, you wake up, oh jeez, I shouldn't have bought that
Patchy
bottle. You know, all this, right? And one thing I'll never regret on is travel, flights and hotels.
For sure.
I
just booked my flights home for Christmas and it feels good.
Exactly.
No,
Flights. I am cool. Spend money on flights.
I agree.
And you know, Airbnbs, travel, whatever it is in general.
For sure.
That is something I'd recommend a lot of young Irish lads to do.
Man, get out there, lads.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's the best thing I've ever done.
Okay, so next
I'll
one.
say that as someone who's turned 30 in a few months. I'm like, now I'm old enough to be like, oh, what would I tell my 20-year-old self? Travel about, get out there.
My favorite YouTubers are like 35, 36.
Oh yeah.
So
oh no,
like,
I'm not worried about
age-
that.
the
I'm
age
just
thing
saying
is shit anymore.
I've got a decade of travel on me
Yeah,
now,
man.
you know?
Yeah, well, that's why I asked you the questions at the start. I was like, why go? You can go to fucking travel advisor. Just ask Rob what it was like.
Yeah.
I guess so. The next one was kind of a two-parter on different stuff. So I've broken it down into two. Two of the most influential people in your life for whatever reason, and kind of the impact they had on you, and that can be now. Like in your mentality, even in like something you took from YouTube, anything like that.
Yeah.
Even
Two.
one.
I know one.
Give me
Anyways,
one.
my
Give me
mother
one.
for sure.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, she is. Yeah, you don't know her because she's not a YouTuber or anything.
What's your channel?
But she is the toughest bitch.
Yeah,
she
straight
calls
up.
herself that.
Straight up,
Toughest
man.
bitch you will ever meet in your life. Me and my sisters call her Iron Woman.
Yes, sir.
She's had survived cancer twice.
Fair fucks.
She's been like hit by a bus while she had cancer.
Christ,
She's like an amazing entrepreneur. She comes from like, I saw the house she grew up in. It's made of stone in Mayo. It is just like like the debt. I'm not saying Mayo's a bad place. I love Mayo. It's it's proper in the middle of nowhere.
Man,
and
people you've been to rural Ireland.
yeah,
you know
it's rural Ireland. It's not a
yeah.
town, like, you know what I mean. And yeah, she's a tough cookie,
Fair
and
fucks.
she's so hard. She's hilariously hard on me. Me and Linda laugh. I go, look what Trace just send me.
break,
She'd
man.
be like, you better be working. She goes, I bet you were drinking last night, didn't you? You better make up for it
I
now.
had one.
It's so funny.
My
And
mum-
I'm there like still up, haven't slept. She's like, you better be working.
My
So
mum
funny.
sends me like she'll be like my mum's going to be opposite. She'll be like, oh, and she'll be like, well done. She'll be like, the podcast is great. She's like, there's no pressure. Do as many as you want. Don't work too hard.
Yeah, oh, she's
Man,
the
fucking
opposite.
push me.
Yeah, so definitely her.
Shout out
and
Ma.
then
What's
shout
your-
out Ma, yeah.
I guess actually the second question, the last one, is kind of I guess will help you go into that. It's a little more specified. Kind of a standard kind of one you get. Any three. If you could sit down with any three YouTubers for an evening and have a conversation with them from any field, who would they be?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to say
great
top
fucking
of my
question.
head now. Love that. So it wouldn't be like, Christian Max that I have done.
Yeah.
You know, they're my
This
friends.
is your chance to meet as many from completely different you wouldn't run into
Never
again.
met them, and they're favorite YouTubers. So it would be Gary Vee, Joe
Yeah.
Rogan, and Jordan Peterson.
Nice. Okay.
Yes,
And
that would be immense.
Jesus Christ, that'd be some
chat.
conversation.
We would
like-
have fucking steak and whiskey.
Yeah,
and,
BB drinking.
oh, it would just be
That's
amazing.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I particularly out of Joe and Gary, even the knowledge. I'm so thankful they put out content like that. You know what I mean? Because
and sorry, quick one. They're all like in their 50s, their 40s, 50s.
Joe Rogan signed a $100 million a year deal with Spotify, and he is fucking 50 years of age.
He's 52,
and they're like, this guy is the most relevant podcaster in the world at 52 years of age.
Oh.
So let's wake up. Let's wake up, people.
Again, like people think even people give shit to TikTok or YouTube. Oh, you're too old for this. Opposite. The older you are, the more experience you have, the more shit you've got to say.
Also,
if you're 17, you got nothing to say. All you can do is dance, which is cool.
And people are making a fuck ton of money doing that.
Crazy.
The money's nuts.
But so definitely, people are always asking me, is it too late to start YouTube or if it's too late to get on TikTok? The biggest YouTubers, TikToks, everything in the whole world, they're all, grown people, adults who have got life experience. They've got value to give. They've got things to say. So people say
I didn't know
it's
shit
too
at 15,
late.
Man. I didn't know fucking. I wasn't there till
I
anything.
knew nothing. I didn't even know how to dance.
I hadn't hit puberty yet.
Exactly.
And there it is.
But so people often say, "Is it too late?" Not at all. Get on it now. Share your story.
I fucking straight up agree, man.
Yeah.
Well, look. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah.
Lads, I'll have this up as fast as I can, hopefully by Friday or so, give you guys some weekend listening. Yeah. Rob, thank you for coming on.
No worries. Put it there.
I'll leave Rob's info, strongest army on the internet, so let's drive to Rob's channel. You should know, I'll get the lads here, the subscribers. You should see about 65 people or so subscribe to your channels. Just keep an eye on the analytics.
There we are.
Go.
Yeah.
I give you permission to run. Go.
It was 89.
89 views on the last video.
But all men better get over here.
Fucking subscribe.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, we're done. We're out. Let's go.